Everything wrong with Too Fast, Too Furious.
Unnecessary forcing of the Universal logo onto car wheel is unnecessary. These jackasses are yelling and making all kinds of noise while rushing out. Wouldn't they be safer just being quiet and going at normal speed? If Ted really owns a garage and worked on cars, you might expect his outfit to be a little dirtier. But what you don't know is this is his formal jumpsuit. Ruby is a dick to people with epilepsy. Even though Suki is one of the 4 racers tonight, she's wearing an insane outfit more conducive to a slow-mo grinding dance montage than a street race. Suki's pit crew consists of 2 people who barely know how to use chamois towels. Sexual assault. Now where's your 4th at? Can someone remind me why we need 4 drivers for this race? Is it to force awkward character introductions? You want to race tonight? Yeah, you know I could use the money. Okay, so Brian needs money. So why hasn't he been able to get in any street races? Why is he just now being called about this awesome street race? You know why I think he's not already there? The movie wanted to make Brian's entrance more dramatic. Hell, the guy lives in Ted's garage, so it's not like these guys are mere acquaintances. The movie wastes time with what I can only assume is Exhibit's wet dream. Miami, in addition to being a huge city of over 2 million people, is also dead empty everywhere you go, because Miami is boring. No one calls the cops on this loud, invasive group of assholes that illegally blocked off roads in a semi-urban area. Nobody said nothing about racing the stakes. Brian comes in at the last minute, just raising the stakes, and suddenly everybody has to raise the stakes, just because he said so. And while Brian needs money, he can apparently plunk down $3,500 on a goddamn car race. 35 large, huh? Either that or you can go home. All of them have at least $3,500 on hand. If they're criminals, but this still seems like an irresponsibly large amount of money to keep on your person. When you gonna pop my class? Ted will certainly eat his words when Suki grabs the head of his penis and jerks it like a clutch. It's helpful if they have any idea how this course is mapped out to get more involved with this race. As is, it's just racing, shifting, blurriness. Movie expects me to believe that all these streets are empty and all these stoplights are disabled because a group of people in a pickup truck put up a road closed sign. Suki's car top is down, yet her hair isn't out of control blowing in her face, and she's able to audibly scream expletives at other drivers. This guy just hit the NOS button, but acts surprised when his car starts going faster. Wait, does the NOS take the car into hyperspace? Hit it, baby. Hit it. Edge not only knows someone who can make a drawbridge go up in the middle of the night, but also someone who knows how to kill 4 street racers with this move. If Slapjack is only going over 100, then seconds later Brian hits the NOS and is blasting past 160. How is Slapjack not eating Brian's stuff? These cars don't nosedive into the pavement, stopping them immediately and killing the drivers instantly. This wreck is brought to you by... I forgot what company it is. Also, wasn't he just going close to 100 miles an hour? Is he not dead? So, we can work on that front end of yours. At this rate, Ted may run out of sexual car phones. Perfect timing. Despite everyone getting pinned in by cops as they try to escape Street Race Central, Brian apparently has some heretofore unknown secret exit out of this place so he can outrun the cops. Lucius Fox is apparently designing weapons for the FBI. Part of her own. Born in Argentina. Exposition will count briefing cliche. If I don't, here's a list of the laws you broke in L.A. Movie assumes that if it triple X's itself a little bit, we won't notice that Vin Diesel isn't in it. What would be better motor for my Skyline, a Gallo 12 or a Gallo 24? 24. I didn't know pizza places made motors. Why is it in movies that the FBI is somehow this incompetent when it comes to undercover work? Like, they can't find anybody who knows cars in the entirety of the Bureau. That's the boy in Monte Carlo? Agent Bilkins doesn't already know this. He's crazy as hell. Sounds like just the kind of liability that the FBI loves to take on. The front of Roman's car smashed it. There's no way he could get the nose of his car under this station wagon enough to flip it. Also, this ridiculous redneck demolition derby doesn't prove he's a good driver in the slightest. It proves he's an idiot for not wearing a helmet. Blondie head not a cop anymore? That's true. So bad. Roman asked Bilkins this question like he knows that Bilkins is a cop who can corroborate Brian's previous statement. As Roman and Brian fight here, I wonder, how the f*** did he think this was the best guy to get for the job? Sure, he can play a street racer, no problem, but work for the cops? He could have probably asked any number of people to do this job, and it would have been better than this guy. That's like the 4th or 5th good punch Rome has gotten in during this fight, if Brian's face remains unscathed. I need you to come to Miami and drive with me. If you do, they'll take out that anklet and they'll clear your entire record. I did 3 years in jail. I know you better than you think. This deal legit. Rome went from dismissing Brian's request because he's a habitual betrayer to being interested in the deal in literally 15 seconds. I thought you couldn't wander more than 100 yards from your home. Why do you think I'm parked so close to the Derby? God damn it. Did they really expect me to believe that a judge sentenced a man to house arrest who lives in a mobile home? That's not house arrest. That's just being completely free. That you can drive that thing anywhere. Also, how the fuck does this even work? Those ankle monitors rely on geofencing, which is fixed to a specific location. It's not a magical anklet that can tell you when you walk a certain distance away from a Winnebago. They have to put a tracking device in his mobile home in order to see how far away he is from it. But unless they arrest the thing for aiding and abetting, that would be extremely unfair to an innocent Winnebago. I don't know if I should be trusted. Does Roman have some outstanding warrants the movie forgot to tell us about? We've established these aren't crooked cops, unless you count hiring former criminals whose only marketable skill is driving well to do their undercover work as crooked. So why does he work? Does you think they're going to arrest him for something he's already served jail time for?
I wouldn't need a fresh start if it wasn't for you.
Have we established that Rome blames Brian for his criminal record? We have? 3 times in the last 5 minutes? Okay, great. Just checking.
I'm not going back to bar stuff.
It takes Roman a matter of seconds to overcome any objections he has to going through this deal. It's almost as if this movie is just manufacturing all this bullshit. Uncle.
And Monica Fuentes.
Wearing her standard police issue sexy blouse. Also, Monica either opted to or was forced to ride standing in the back of this truck, which is refrigerated for maximum sexiness.
They've been briefed.
All right, here's the deal.
Never mind, I'm going to brief you anyway.
Don't even think about taking the convertible.
Because it's less aerodynamic and an open cabin causes lots of drag at high speeds. Wait, is it because he wants it for himself? Movie shoots standard driving down the road like it's a chase scene. If these two are supposed to be badass street racers driving badass fast cars, then explain to me why they just got passed by a Ford Explorer.
Turn right here.
If you're undercover cops posing as street racers, you need to have a prestige level of commitment to the bit and do street racer on the way to the meet. This is an easy trick if you're not actually driving.
You did the standard drive on you didn't.
Roman and Brian pulled that frequently enough for it to have a name. Movie Pad's runtime with 30 more seconds of car forward.
Hey, what have you been causing bottom of cereal box?
Semi-legitimate burn makes me wonder why the FBI opted to go with Japanese sports cars instead of springing for some nice American muscle cars. Carter is the proud owner of a golden easel that he uses to hold the apparently wireless monitor that displays his surveillance system. Also, the number of camera views displayed here suggests that Carter has 12 cameras around his property, but at least 2 of the views displayed are the same. I don't know who Carter is trying to impress here, but he would have been better served by swallowing his pride and just displaying 4 views on the smaller screen. It's good to see that Smash Mouth couldn't make it to the street race meeting on time. Man, the cops in Miami must be up to their ears in cocaine busts to miss all these tricked out sleds gunning it down I-95. I'm glad they paid all that money to animate this. Otherwise, I'd have no idea the FBI is tracking the whereabouts of a car they own being used in an undercover operation.
They're running. What a surprise.
Why the f*** would Markham think they were running? Even if he is enough at his job not to assume the obvious here. Monica would definitely have told him that there would be some kind of a test, and that this is all part of the plan. Roman, Brian, and all the other drivers slow down to the flow of traffic, just so they can have this playful moment, just before they start weaving through traffic again. This semi doesn't stop before this happens.
Crazy ass white boy.
Tyrese finally earns his paycheck in this movie. Running into this doesn't fuck Brian's car or Brian.
What do we got?
You're just now checking up on Roman's credentials. Whoever decides to read up on Roman Pierce is going to be confused because it talks about Brian here, and then suddenly switches pronouns to she here and here.
Look in the center. Look in the center.
Well, package is in the center console instead of in the
glove box.
which is where Carter said it would be.
Cops. What the hell they doing here?
I mean, right? It's such a free-for-all in Miami that criminals can do outrage like this and still question why cops are here. Also, yeah, why are the cops here? Yeah, he thinks Roman and Brian are running, but you've got to be kidding me with this mess. If their cars have GPS trackers and you can find them at any time, then why take the risk of f***ing up an investigation? Why not at least hang back and see what they're up to before going insane? Good thing Barone doesn't check this thing because what's with April 8th? This guy has 5 speeding tickets, all on April 8th, and 3 in one day in 1992. Twice he got careless driving violations on Valentine's Day in 1982, even though he was born in 1973. That's a 9-year-old carelessly driving. Also, I find it tremendously endearing that one day in 1991, the cops pulled over this man for a seatbelt violation. He must have been totally going the speed limit that day.
What you checking her out for?
I'm not checking her out. She can't hear this.
Yes, you were. No, it wasn't.
And now you're still arguing about this bullshit? I mean, yes, he was checking her out. Tyrese was checking her out. I was checking her out. This whole trial is out of order. Attica! Attica! I don't care how rich you are, it's a waste to throw away a perfectly good, fairly smoked cigar. As I see Tej barking out stuff through a megaphone at his garage where he's an ace streetcar mechanic, I wonder how he became such an amazing computer hacker in the later movies.
That's how they do it out here, man.
Every day, no one in law enforcement seems to be upset that Tej is running illegal gambling outside of his business, and that he's clearly using his garage to launder the money he makes from this jet ski racing scheme. I mean, it's pretty clear that only one dude is actually doing any work on cars.
I hit a wall doing like $1.20 a couple of years ago.
But because I'm a member of the Fast and Furious team and didn't have a Wonder Woman movie to do, I didn't die from that.
Both of them a lot of like I never seen before.
What? How the actual is Roman surprised the FBI is tracking them? Also, why the do they care that the FBI is tracking them? Wasn't the whole deal for them to work with the FBI to bring down Carter so they could get their records clean? If they ripped out the tracking info from their cars, that would mean the deal is off, right? Right?
Yeah, well, they've been on since we left the room since.
And instead of losing them much earlier, Brian decided to lead them right to the place where they planned to hide out. Did these federal agents forget the old idiom? Those who meet in mostly glass restaurants should not meet with undercover operatives because passersby can see them meeting with you. I think that's how it goes.
What's this about, man?
It couldn't be about that time I shot at you 20 times, right?
You think she's compromised? You should know. Your old pal O'Connor didn't tell you? He flipped on Pilkins in L.A. Gave his Mark his car keys and let him disappear.
So because O'Connor did this in the first movie, he should know if Monica is f***ing the drug lord? Why is Miami able to shut down during impromptu street races? Tej doesn't market modify these cars to use NOS as ludicrous speed. Seems appropriate for some reason.
Good move, kid. Let's see if you got the ball.
Given how fast they're both traveling and how far away they are from each other, I severely doubt that Fonzie would have enough time to even say, "Good move, kid," before Brian cracked into him head on. Brian successfully gets this guy to swerve off course for a second, but he's still way, way, way behind, and will somehow bullshit his way back to neck and neck with this asshole just because of the NOS. Movie continues to act like hitting the nitrous button and going over 100 miles an hour is the same as the Millennium Falcon making the jump to light speed. Carter's Club is a magical fantasy told of in ancient legends that contains more women than men.
It's the Oasis in here, bro.
That's Oasis.
What is his deal?
He doesn't trust people to carry badges. Brian says this right in the middle of Carter Verone's club while they're both undercover because he is very interested in getting them all killed.
I've been a cop for about 2 months. When Roman was busted in a garage raid.
And I miss the day where they tell you not to talk about being a cop while undercover. Also, the movie decides now is the time to explain why Roman was so mad at Brian when they met up earlier in the film. Explaining it then, when it made more sense to do so, would have been too easy.
Earlier. Yeah, actually, I wanted.
Wrist touching. We all know what that leads to. Handhold, which can get you pregnant.
He's here.
Why is this such big news? Didn't Verone invite them here?
He's over there, bro. Look.
Even though he's clearly staring at you guys right now and notices you're here. So play it cool.
It's all right, man.
Why does this even need to be said? Didn't he specifically ask for them to come to his little VIP room?
5 minutes of her time, and she can get anything she wants from me.
Carter is so brilliant, he was able to figure out that attractive women can use their sexuality to manipulate weak men. Who knew?
I got a problem with authority. I have that same problem. For me, it's cops.
For me, it's firemen. They're all like, get out of the house, it's on fire. And I'm like, I don't have to listen to you, pig. Oh, I just carry around a rat anywhere I go, just in case there's somebody I want to torture at a moment's notice.
Once the bucket gets hot enough, Detective, the rat is going to want out. The only direction it can go is south.
This overly complicated torture technique is basically here to show what a sadistic bastard this guy is. But it's an insane waste of time and rats. Rat camp. This torture by rat in the heated bucket just got a whole lot sexier. Oh yeah.
Alright, now I'll burn my.
Why not just do that? Save a rat?
I'm a low-budget mechanic, but I overcharge. Pay me. Let's go.
Sure, just start raking in the pot before Tej even shows his cards. Why you haven't been shot playing poker yet is beyond me.
It's Packerized, boy. Royal flush.
Tej totally slow rolls his imploding. So I wonder both of these guys haven't been shot playing poker. And a royal flush? Come on. Who the f*** it's a royal flush when the stakes are highest except Tej and James Bond.
I'm gonna crash Tez. I'll catch you tomorrow.
What was the point of this entire scene? Is Monica wet right now because she swam to Brian's houseboat? Or did she get there a normal way, but the scene wasn't sexy enough, so they dumped a bucket of water on her?
Once you finish the run, they're putting a bullet in your head.
Why the f*** is she going to Brian about this? Did she forget she's a customs agent working with the FBI? She's clearly risking her own life by sneaking on to Brian's houseboat, given that Carter said,
You ever touch another man again, and I'll kill you.
you think it'd be in everyone's best interest for Monica to go and tell the team of federal agents she works for about this instead of going directly to Brian. But that wouldn't be nearly as romantic and probably a lot less damning.
They don't know I'm here. I snuck out.
And besides me not being there and no one having any idea where I am and Carter being suspicious that there's something going on between me and Brian, there is no reason for them to be here. There's a skylight above the bathroom? How's that peeping, Tommy? Also, this movie's going to have us believe that Monica can somehow lift herself through this window without making any noise or rocking the boat a little, or she's dead is what I'm saying. All of them are dead. I'm going to remove 3 sins because Eva Mendes exists.
And you remember us growing up?
That transition into this attempt at emotional character development just gave me whiplash.
I got Verone's navigator leaving the rest of us.
The FBI has guys on the inside at Verone's place, but only when it's convenient to the plot. This guy is checking in at his office so we can see pictures of his family, allowing the viewer to remember his internal conflict.
Move on to trailer property. Right now.
Okay, so I understand that Verone paid this guy off to keep a window open for his guys to steal money. But my question is, why does the cop know about this operation at all? It seems like they could have stolen this money without any cop involvement, unless this is a place where cops were already scoping out and were waiting for Verone to take the money out. But this movie has never explained this money, or why he hid it in a wall in a random house, or why the cops are involved. Sure, that SUV stayed in a straight line without anyone gripping the steering wheel. Sure it did.
Let's get the chopper over there. One eye is right on top.
No one in the local police department questions why an FBI chopper is also chasing these guys. This weapon, which is clearly complete bolt, is only stuck to the door. Yeah, it still messes up all the inner workings of the car. I guess it's sending its bolts to the bullshitometer inside the car's bullshiterator, which is causing everything to go haywire. Brian conveniently pulls off the car stopper hook at the very last second. And apparently you don't even need a gun to fire this thing into a car. You just need a good throwing arm. And even though the hook of this thing basically shut the car completely down before Brian removed it, the car still worked just fine even after it's removed. Man, I would love to actually watch this car chase, but I guess seeing extreme close-ups of gas pedals, eyeballs, and gear shifts will do just fine. The police don't immediately start yelling at these assholes to come out with their hands out. Cops don't immediately start shooting at these assholes. There are seriously this many street racers who could help out with Operation Confuse the Cops today.
Must have lost him in the scramble.
For some reason, neither the local police nor the FBI used their resources to block the entrances and exits to this facility, preventing anyone from escaping, and then start arresting those fools for whatever they can definitely arrest them for.
All right, we got him going west on beat.
Bilkins doesn't assume they ditched those cars and are now using them as a decoy, because that's what I, a normal person who's not an FBI agent, assume they're doing. Okay, so Roman and Brian switch cars, but aren't Tej and Suki in serious trouble for aiding and abetting? Why so happy? And with all the goddamn cars you guys just threw at the cops, why even bother driving these? Sure, you get them chasing after cars that don't actually have the money, but with all the confusion, you could have just kept these cars parked in the garage. So what's their plan here? The money isn't showing up, so I guess they're just going to arrest Roman for almost getting onto his own plane?
Who's arrested? Another car. Another car. Where's the other car?
How do you not know? Didn't you have this master plan to provide Roman and Brian with one goon each to go with them when they got the money? How do you not know there's another car? And how do you not know something happened to one of them? And then this asshole decides he's going to leave without the other half of his money for some reason, without any other explanation.
So you know nothing about the agents that's throwing my jet.
So if you don't know about the other car, how do you know about this? They arrested the guys that were out there, right? Did the feds give them all their one phone call, and they used it to call Barone and tell them about the jet?
Custom agents sure are getting pretty.
How the f does he know that she's a customs agent? I'm sure he could assume that she's informing the police based on what she knows and what the cops now know, but he knows her exact role. Did the screenwriter whisper it to him because there are only 7 minutes left in the movie?
Get on the boat.
No idea why Barone doesn't just kill Monica and Brian right here and now. This is a guy who doesn't even have to think twice about heating up a rat and a metal pail to torture a dude, but he can't just kill some fools, take his money, and leave.
What's that?
Who cares? Just kill him already.
What's that?
It's Boston, baby!
Roman Han Solo's in at the last minute and announces himself over the walkie just before Brian gets shot. Are they really going to try and pull this Duke's? He beat me to it. That yacht probably maxes out at maybe 50 miles an hour. Brian and Roman are going 90, but somehow they don't whiz past the boat and just shoot off into the water. Did Brian know there was a ramp here? If so, how so? Also, it just happens to be a perfect place to fly his car into the boat. If that ramp's anywhere else, this ending doesn't happen. Also, they survived this. Some bull. The guys with guns on this boat don't come up and shoot both these assholes dead. Or they're dead and the movie didn't tell us they're dead, and just made us assume that. Even though Barone has the draw on them, Brian still managed to shoot first. Downstairs, the screenwriter was fighting off the remaining guards and vigorously untying Monica, so she could make it back up here just in time to conveniently take the gun from Barone.
Open the garage together? How we gonna do that, Brett?
Pockets ain't empty, Judge. Brian says this like he's got some big surprise for Roman here, but Roman has some of the money stuffed down in his jeans. But why did he think opening up a garage would be hard to do when he's got stacks of cash in his pants?